as you can see, one of the big challenges here is Kmart reaches so much of the American public. This was going to need to scale very rapidly. And now to hear about how the infrastructure was built to meet that kind of tremendous scale of BlueLight.com, join me in welcoming Bill Beans, President and COO of ICG Communications. Bill, there you go.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Larry, for inviting ICG to help tell the story about how Blue Light, Spinway, and ICG partnered to help get Kmart to scale as quickly as they needed to. For those of you who are not familiar with ICG, I'm going to start with a little overview of who we are. We're an infrastructure-based CLEC headquartered in Denver, Colorado. We are the largest CLEC in terms of access lines installed, and at the end of the first quarter had over 905,000 installed. We're one of the top 3 in terms of revenue and EBITDA amongst our peer group. We have 2 basic sales channels. Our customers in our consumer sales channel, small to medium-sized businesses. And in our wholesale service channel, we have internet service providers that we focus on. And within that channel is specifically where Blue Light services came out of. Today we serve approximately 5 million internet users, or roughly 10% of this country's internet traffic traverses the ICG network. And we're one of Cisco's largest service providers, partners in the entire world. ICG has national broadband capability with over $1.7 billion of assets installed at the end of the first quarter and end of March. That consisted of 35 circuit switches and 24 ATM switches, 227 data pops serving over 700 cities. This attribute was one of the single biggest determining factors in having Blue Light and Spinway partner with ICG to help scale their business. Over 4,800 fiber route miles installed across the country. Over 8,700 buildings connected to our network, of which 1,000 are directly connected via our own fiber facilities. We're co-located within 183 Bell Central offices, and we have one of the nation's largest VoIP networks. Now, in addition to our embedded infrastructure, we're currently underway with an expansion program of over $1 billion to move into 22 new markets, to add 35 new voice and data switches, to upgrade our current OC12 backbone to OC48 this quarter, and then to OC192 at the end of the year. And at the same time, we continue to grow our VoIP network. Now, as you can see between our embedded infrastructure and our expansion plans, that together we have quite a robust network. And again, from the video, you heard them talk about scale and speed, and that's one of the primary factors that enabled us to move very quickly in getting them positioned in the market. Now, the product that we are offering that helped them get to the market was a product we call IRAS, or Internet Remote Access Service. And the way it starts is it accesses the end users via the public service telephone network, which is on the left side of your screen, and gets pulled into the ICG switch site, which is represented by the yellow. In that site is an ICG switching vehicle, circuit switch today, packet switches on the way, that are connected to many Cisco-powered pieces of equipment, routers, modems, various kinds of equipment. And at the same location, we also have our customers, Blue Light and Spinway, co-located. And we tie that to our ATM backbone. So virtually through one connection point, we give Blue Light the ability to serve over 700 markets very quickly. Now, IRAS actually came out of the trends that we were seeing in the marketplace. And those trends were that data customers were looking for voice products, and voice customers were looking for data products. We were seeing business customers outsourcing networks and IT infrastructure. We were seeing ISPs and ASPs completely outsourcing from the get-go, exactly what Blue Light and Spinway did. And we were seeing enterprise customers who were partnering with ISPs and network service providers so that they could broaden their reach very quickly. Now, the value proposition that ICG proposes to the ISPs is really quite simple. We offer one-stop shopping capability, which, again, from the video, is very important in moving quickly. It was much faster for them to come to one service provider than have to go coordinate 5 or 6 or 7 of them in various areas, various marketplaces and regions to try to bring it all together as fast as they needed to. We allow them to outsource their network management so that they don't have to keep the people on board to run a very robust network. We allow them to gain time to market and move much faster. It allows them to increase revenues and minimize churn. Through connecting with our backbone, we're able to inject lots of additional applications that they can then pass on to their end users and increase their revenue streams and also minimize churn by keeping valuable products and services within our network. We allow them to reduce the complexity, obviously, of having to manage a national network. It takes a lot of work, a lot of people, a lot of systems to run a network that is as robust as the ICG network is today. And finally, it allows them to be more efficient with their capital and focus on what their core competencies are and not have to spend it on a network that they can't leverage across many different suppliers. So every one of those value propositions is today what ICG is uniquely supplying to Blue Light and Spinway to help scale the business for Kmart.
Great, Bill. Those are some great details about the Kmart case, but it makes me wonder, so is Kmart a freak case, or do you see other kinds of enterprises doing this kind of virtual ISP project as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because what we're starting to see are various other enterprise kinds of customers, automotive enterprises, other big retailers, insurance companies, all those enterprises that have lots of consumers that are spread out all over the country are looking for ways to partner with network service providers to get that kind of penetration so they can get to their end users.
Okay, I even saw one in the paper where Subway, the sandwich shop, is now becoming an ISP.
Yeah.
So go figure. So one thing that might concern me, I might be contemplating a project like this, but clearly when you're reaching millions of users, not all of them are going to know how to install things on Windows or whatever, and they're going to want to know, how can I get tech support? That could be quite a burden. How does somebody like Kmart deal with the tech support in a case like this?
Right. In the Kmart example, actually Spinway provided the tech support branded as a bluelight.com service, and the partnership actually allowed Kmart together to outsource all those kinds of things, support and network, etc., so that they can focus on really their core business retailing. So they moved it all out.
So they insert the ads and they take care of the tech support.
That's right.
One last question then, which is, if somebody wants to do a project like this, what sort of things should they be looking for in the service provider, the wholesale service provider?
Well, there's a couple things. I think the ability to deliver, national in scope, are very important. But more importantly, and where we think we differentiate ourselves, is channel clarity. We don't provide any confusion to the end user in competing against our ISP. We sit behind them, we build the network, we allow them to brand themselves to the end user and really put them in the forefront. So we're there to support them, run the network, and do what we do best, which is manage the infrastructure.
So ICG is working behind the scenes to make them successful.
That's right.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing the Kmart story with us. It's a pretty neat story, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Now let's take a look at some of the ways the internet is affecting your businesses.